Number one, let's start with what happened yesterday, because she has gone viral, all right? She's gone viral over hot girls eat Arby's. Yeah. She was wearing this outfit, this arrangement into the Chicago Sky game. Of course, the Indiana Fever, I would like to say, beat the brakes off the Sky, but really it felt like they underachieved a good bit yesterday.
In a league suddenly defined by drama, the most explosive moment of the year wasn't a buzzer beater or a championship win. It was a t-shirt, a simple 5-word slogan that managed to hijack the entire news cycle, create a new superstar overnight, and expose a deep, uncomfortable truth about what sports fans are truly desperate for.
Sophie Cunningham's t-shirt became a marketing phenomenon. Sophie Cunningham currently plays for the Indiana Fever and has now become one of the most recognizable WNBA players. After Barbie night, she pulled up wearing a shirt that said "Hot Girls Eat Arby's," and the internet lost it. But here's the real backstory. A few months earlier, Sophie posted a video rating Arby's. And that video is just her being authentic in herself. And that puppy went viral.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and give Arby's a solid 9 out of 10.
Then following this, the phrase "hot girls eat Arby's" started flying around. And it turns out that Arby's has been saying this since 2023.
This is the story of how one player, armed with a roast beef sandwich and an unapologetic mean streak, accidentally became the most compelling figure in basketball. But as her fame exploded, so did the backlash, sparking a furious campaign from her critics with a shocking demand, a petition to have her banned from the sport for life.
We know somebody that has gotten ridiculously popular this year with the Indiana Fever. I made a prediction that she was going to be the second most popular player on this team by the end of the year. And then, of course, there was the big incident during the Connecticut Sun game. And by the end of that game, she was known as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, right? The one that's got her back. At times, it feels like the only one that's got her back, if I'm being quite honest.
The chaos ignited with a single piece of clothing. Before a nationally televised game, Indiana Fever's Sophie Cunningham strolled into the arena wearing a plain white t-shirt with the words, "Hot Girls Eat Arby's." The internet immediately detonated. Within hours, the phrase was trending, the clip had millions of views, and Arby's was likely holding emergency marketing meetings. A star was born from a slogan.
Sophie Cunningham has broken the internet in multiple ways over the last day. All right, the other day, before the Chicago Sky game, this Barbie, and let's be real, let's be honest. If you were going to cast somebody as Barbie, there's a good chance you'd take a long, hard look at Sophie Cunningham.
But this was no random fluke. The viral shirt was a brilliant callback to a video she had posted months prior, where she just sat in her car and gave a brutally honest, unfiltered review of an Arby's meal. That simple act of authenticity planted a seed. The t-shirt was the moment that seed grew into a forest, proving that fans were more interested in her genuine personality than any prepackaged PR narrative.
No knock on Arby's, Sophie, but if you give Arby's 9 out of 10, I'll take you to Racks. I'll buy you some Racks, and I think you will find that hot girls probably eat Racks. Arby's has a new spokeswoman, and it just so happens to be Sophie Cunningham. Yeah, that's right. Sophie Cunningham, who took to her social media to discuss how much she enjoyed a trip that she made to Arby's. And
yet, the t-shirt is only half the story. To truly understand the power Sophie Cunningham suddenly holds, you have to look beyond the viral moment and onto the court, where her reputation was forged not with humor, but with cold, hard aggression. Before she was the Arby's girl, she earned a much more intimidating title, the Enforcer.
700,000 followers overnight. I don't know if you guys knew, she had like 300 or something less than 48 hours ago. Insane. The Enforcer has arrived. And she even posted like twice since then, bro. She's totally taken it to a whole new level. Like, Caitlin Clark has a new star. This is like a new star in the WNBA. People ain't gonna like it. People aren't gonna like it. Trace Leches, you know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and Lexi Hull, which, by the way, kind of was obsessed with her before she even came along. So
It all happened during a fiercely contested game against the Phoenix Mercury. The league's biggest star, Caitlin Clark, was knocked to the ground by a hard foul that many felt crossed the line. The game moved on, but Sophie Cunningham did not forget. She waited, letting the tension build, watching for her moment to send a message.
And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough. So when Caitlin Clark last week, or not last week, a couple days ago, when Caitlin Clark got destroyed, her girl Sophie came to her defense, and this was the most beast mode thing that I've seen a woman do in WNBA history. Now, Sophie, who's my one of my favorites now, she's become one of my favorite WNBA players. I'm gonna watch her too, like I watch Caitlin. Look at what she did, and people may not say that this was in response or whatever the case may be, but I feel like Sophie is like, you want to play?
In the aftermath of that single play, two opposing armies formed instantly. The first was an army of devoted fans. They flooded the internet with praise, calling her the ultimate teammate and the protector the Fever desperately needed. Her social media following exploded, nearly tripling in less than 48 hours. She was no longer just a player, she was a hero.
To the arena yesterday, wearing that, there she is right there. Let's just bring this up. Over at Tater Report. There she is right there. Hot girls eat Arby's. I can only imagine, and I have no idea. I would assume this is some kind of sponsorship with Arby's, right? Right there. I don't know. The roast beef sandwich jokes just sort of write themselves at this point. And just like that, I want a cheddar melt.
The proof of her newfound fame was undeniable. Her official Indiana Fever jersey completely sold out online, a feat usually reserved for the league's biggest names. Fans were literally buying into her brand of loyalty and toughness. But for every new fan she gained, an equally passionate enemy emerged from the shadows.
I will say that when you are good at basketball, you're pretty, and you got grit, those three things make you bad to the bone. And I think this is one of it's new trends that's going on in the WNBA, in my personal opinion, is that not only will you be good at basketball, but you also, some of these women will look like women, right? They used to look like dudes, but now they look like beautiful women that are playing basketball. And one thing I like about Sophie is that she's tough.
A second, much angrier army was mobilizing online. A petition surfaced, branding her retaliatory foul as disgusting and a disgrace to women's basketball. It furiously demanded that the league take action and have Sophie Cunningham removed from the WNBA entirely. The battle lines were officially drawn. You either saw her as a warrior or a villain.
Let's take a look, because Arby saw this and decided that it was a match made in roast beef heaven.
Like, not bad.
They weren't dissuaded, obviously, by the little shade that she threw at them there between enjoying her yummy sandwich, saying that she went away. She doesn't have it often for obvious reasons. Well, what are those obvious reasons, Sophie? Anyway, she is now on the Arby's payroll.
This deep, polarizing divide exposed a fascinating conflict raging beneath the surface of the league. Sophie's rise isn't just about a hard foul or a funny shirt. It's about a war being waged over the soul of the sport. For years, the league has tried to sell a polished, brand-friendly version of its players. Sophie is the opposite of that.
If you can see right here, that's Sophie Cunningham. She is the teammate of the year. Or at least the Caitlin Clark she is, after Caitlin Clark was pushed to the ground and poked in the eye in the first half of a game against the Phoenix Mercury. She actually, late in the game, assaulted one of the Phoenix Mercury players in retaliation. And fans loved it. They ate it up. Because look at this. If you look closely, her following on TikTok went from over 300,000, which was great, to almost well over 800,000, probably at 1 million now.
This has led to a shocking but compelling theory. What if none of this was an accident? Is Sophie Cunningham just a normal player who stumbled into the spotlight, or is she one of the most cunning marketing masterminds in the game today? Look at the evidence. She isn't just riding a wave of fame, she's expertly steering it.
So Caitlin Clark's teammate Sophie Cunningham's jersey has officially sold out on the Fever website. And this comes the same week as the chippy foul that led to some ejections at the end of the game. It was a bit of a revenge foul taken up for Caitlin Clark after a hard foul on the other end. And then immediately a petition online from the Caitlin Clark haters to have Sophie Cunningham removed from the WNBA. They're trying to get folks to sign it. They said what she displayed tonight was disgusting. And yeah, it was a hard foul, but now it has the Caitlin Clark fans rallying around her, buying up her jerseys to the point they've officially sold out. Fortunately for this petition, I think they just turned Sophie Cunningham into a new WNBA A-list superstar.
She represents a gritty, unfiltered reality that many fans are starving for. While some players seem to be auditioning for reality shows with choreographed drama and social media beefs, Sophie just plays hard and speaks her mind. She isn't performing authenticity, she just is authentic. And in the carefully curated world of modern sports, that genuine attitude—
Sophie Cunningham's jersey is going to sell out tonight. The people have been waiting for this. If the refs are not going to do their job, the players are going to have to be the enforcers themselves. This game was chippy from the beginning, and the refs did not do their job.
She saw the Caitlin Clark effect, bringing millions of new, fiercely loyal eyes to the sport. She understood those fans were desperate for a player who would protect their new hero. She delivered that protection with brutal efficiency. She saw a gap in the market for a player who was relatable and funny. She filled that gap with a fast food t-shirt. It wasn't a series of lucky breaks, it was a clinic in brand building. And her perfectly executed rise has created $1 billion headache for the one organization that should be her biggest champion, the WNBA itself. The league spent years begging for mainstream relevance, but they wanted it on their own terms. They wanted to control the narrative, handpick the stars, and script the rivalries. Sophie is a story they can't control. She is raw, polarizing, and popular for reasons that defy traditional marketing. She didn't ask for permission to become a star, she simply took the spotlight. She is, in short, a nightmare for executives who built a system around predictable, brand-safe athletes. She is a wild card in a deck they thought they had stacked. Ultimately, Sophie Cunningham is a symbol of a radical shift in what fans demand. The petition to ban her was never a real threat, but it revealed the desperation of those who want sports to remain a clean, predictable product. They are terrified of what she represents. That fan loyalty isn't bought with ad campaigns, but earned with sweat, grit, and the audacity to be yourself. The final score is clear. The fans have spoken, and they want more of what Sophie is selling. Later in that same game, in an act of what commentators called revenge, Sophie delivered a crushing, unambiguous foul to one of Phoenix's key players. It was a brutal, calculated move that silenced the arena. It wasn't about the ball, it was a declaration. The message was clear: if you touch our star, you will have to answer to me.